that Knicks and Pacer series started with a bang last night.
It did.
What a
Love it.
game that we had. It felt like a throwback game, minus the flop by Dante DiVincenzo at the end of it.
Nasty work.
Yeah, we wouldn't have seen that in the 90s. But it felt like the old school Pacers-Knicks series.
Yeah.
Physicality was there. The MSG was absolutely incredible.
Fourth straight 40-piece for Brunson.
Brunson goes off. Your stars were making plays left and right at the end of that game.
Josh Hart couldn't miss.
Officials were being blamed by both fan bases, which means that it was an all-around poorly officiated game.
Think about
but they
this.
nailed it.
The Knicks won this game scoring 121 points, and they got 3 points off the bench.
And this is where I go to, is this sustainable
The answer
for the
to
New
me
York
is no.
Knicks? And that's always been my question with the Knicks is when you only play 7 guys in a playoff series that is going to be as physical as this one is, as fast-paced as this one is going to be, are there 3 guys that they just run into the ground, Brunson, Hart, and OG. And last night, it was DiVincenzo as well, because all 4 of those guys played over 40 minutes. Coming off the bench,
including Josh Hart, who played every second.
You got 3 points off the bench, but your bench only contributed, 27 minutes?
And 4 of those came in one stint for Precious Achiuwa in the first quarter.
That is going to be the red herring in this entire series.
Yeah, because the Pacers played 9, and they played deep. You had 19 for Obi, 13 for Isaiah, 22 for McConnell, 18 for Shepard, okay? And here's the thing for me, and this is what can't happen. This happened in game 1 for the Pacers against the Bucks. Tyrese Halliburton went 2 of 6. He only took 6 shots. It's not the 2 that bothers me. It's the 6. And he has already come out and said, I had the same thing happen last series. I've got to be more aggressive. TJ McConnell played well. Shot 55% from the field, 9 of 16 from the field, 18 points. That's what the Knicks want. They want TJ McConnell taking shots. Look, TJ McConnell,
everybody does.
You just go down that road and you go, okay, sure, whatever. I am not going to... That needs to be inverse. Tyrese Halliburton needs to take 16 shots. TJ McConnell needs to take 6. There needs to be a 10-shot swing there because Tyrese Halliburton is too good to not that happen. And he's still dealing with a hamstring. That's still an issue. But you look at what they were able to do. They get 18 off the bench from McConnell. I think you can get that from Toppin. I think that's kind of a guy you're looking at in this series because he wants a little get back with the Knicks. Let's be honest. But I think you can get a lot more out of Halliburton. I think the physicality in this series, the Pacers are up to that task, but the Pacers are also up to running the possession count up. And I don't know if the Knicks can hold on to the style that they want to play if the possession count ends up like this. You had 88 shots for the Pacers and 82 for the Knicks. That's getting to, they want to play in the 70s. That's where they want the shot total to be. Because if they're getting up down the floor and this is a 120-plus game or 117 is probably the cutoff. If it gets over 117 for either team, you're in scary hours if you're the Knicks. Because
scary hours last night.
You have to hope and pray that guys are hitting shots.
But this is also what we saw in that Philly series, too. I mean, they just play to that final minute of the game, and then it becomes a backyard brawl. And they came out on top of game 1. Tom Thibodeau was asked after the game about playing guys like Josh Hart for 48 minutes and stretching his starting lineup so thin.
Well, I think it's important. You do whatever, you always put the team first, whatever's necessary to help the team. That's what you got to do. And right now, that's where we are, and that's where we've been the entire season. We've been shorthanded the whole season. So, this team has the belief that they can win. So just keep whatever you have, give it to the team. And that's what we're asking everyone to do.
I don't think you can continue to ask these guys to play 48 minutes, 44 minutes for Brunson
and have that production
in OG Anunoby to have that, because you're going to be going into a 7-game series because this series does have that feel of this is going to be a prize fight. They're going to be trading blows back and forth. This thing is going to
and the pace is going to be pushed. That's the thing is this is not a grinded out series. The Pacers want to go. look, you can talk about the Knicks and competing and all those things and heart of a champion and they don't run out of gas. Like that. There's some truth to the Villanova guys and just being able to. But 40 points, 4 games in a row, that kind of usage in 40 minutes a night, Brunson is going to falter. He's like, it's not me like preying on his downfall. It's just, it's going to happen. You're not going to get 40 from him. And then what?
Well, in like you were talking about those Villanova guys, Ian Begley, who covers the Knicks for SNY TV, Brunson, Hart, DiVincenzo scored unassisted of 109 of the Knicks' 121 points in game one. Brunson had 43 points on 26 shots, joining Jordan, Jerry West, and Bernard King as the only players to score 40-plus in 4 straight games. Hart had 13 rebounds, 8 assists, and 3 steals.
Look, I love all 3 of these guys. I do. I think they're all phenomenal players. But there is a breaking point even for the best, most well-conditioned, most heart, dive on the floor, Villanova attitude guys. It will catch up to them.
You know that those guys, too, this comes from the AP, 92 points by the 3 Villanova guys is the most from players from one college in one team in a playoff game in NBA history. The previous record was 86 points by De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, and Trey Lyles.
I immediately went to Kentucky, and I I was Kentucky hasn't had enough guys on one team to have a night.
It was game 1 last year for the Kings Warriors. 3 Kentucky guys did it.
I thought about North
86.
Carolina and Kentucky immediately, and I was like, the North Carolina guys have always been spread out, but the Kentucky guys have they've been on the same teams together.
Yeah, but last night the most by any college on one team in the NBA playoffs in NBA history, which is crazy. And they're working these guys to the bone. And I don't know.
And this isn't new for them. Like, this isn't like a Tibbs thing, or like Josh Hart has been like.
I love Josh.
Like, he was only here for a short time. I love covering the guy because he was a maniac. Dante DiVincenzo, with the exception of his knee injury, has always been this guy. Jalen Brunson has always been this guy. Like, if you watch those 2018, 2019 Villanova teams, or 2017, 2018 teams, this is what they were. And like the fact that they have that relationship they could go back to being in the dorms together, that does feed into this. That does make this an incredibly unique story. Like the bond that they have, the trust that they have, like no matter what, there's a little bit of a militaristic barracks relationship here, because this isn't bringing guys together that are coming together as a team. These are guys that were already together. These are guys that are brothers. Those bonds long forged.
Just remember how excited Brunson got when Josh Hart when he got traded to New York, and he was getting his number retired at Villanova. And I remember that video of how excited he was. Like, no way, we got Hart, let's go.
Like that.
Let's go.
Those are their brothers, and so there's. That kind of feeds into that cycle, but there is a breaking point for that. And I don't know, the lack of Julius Randle and having that offensive outlet valve, I just don't know.
I think if you're Indiana, you feel really good about how that game 1 went.
If they get game 2, it's going to be a nasty series.
And it's going to get even nastier because Reggie Miller today confirmed that he will be on the call for TNT Game 2 in MSG.
I hope they have Spike. Bring Spike on air.
Well, he was there last night, front and center, and he'll be, the way that the broadcast is set up, he'll be directly across from Reggie. So they might be looking at each other.
I hope Reggie just mimes the choke signal if the Pacers have an opportunity.
But Rick Carlisle, like, I think Game 1, if what you wanted to do was establish pace.
You saw the blueprint.
You saw what they want to do, and they had their puncher's chance. And officiating had a ton to do with that. And, I mean, we'll dive into that a little bit later in the show because it was a bad night for them.
Yes.
I mean, there were 5 pivotal calls
that they got wrong.
that they got wrong. They got wrong.
Woof.
And it was a mess in that regard. But I don't think it took away from the drama that we got as it resulted last night, because the drama was incredible.